You're watching Hellbent Holler live. What is up, everybody? Welcome to a very special edition of Hellbent Holler live. Let us know you can see us and hear us, and we will get the show on the road. How's that sound?
I can't believe you're that damn peppy right now. Good God Almighty.
Barely. All right. We'll get this started after we do our sound check. Perfect. Thank you, Ristel. That is awesome. All right. We are here. We're alive. We made it back. We literally just pulled into the driveway 10 and 15 minutes ago. Yeah. Unloaded some stuff, got this set up, and figured we would come on here. We've been on the road all day, but we are here. We're happy to be alive after our harrowing event.
Yes.
So we just got back from the Uwharrie National Forest in North Carolina, and it was quite an experience. We cheated death a couple of times because it turns out that this was the hottest day of the year so far, and we decided to go and just hit the forest and do some serious hiking because this, like I said, this is the second time we've been out there. So we still don't have a full lay of the land or understanding of where everything is, what these locations look like. I just have a list of encounters and experiences people have had, and we're just going to each one and checking it out and scouting it out. And one of them was supposed to be just a couple of miles into the forest, and it turned out it was a lot longer.
It was a lot longer miles than
it was a lot longer than that, and it was over 100 with like 300% humidity is what it felt like.
It's rough.
But we ended up like getting down to like hardly any water. We took a ton of water with us, but the problem is, and we complain about this all the time, there's only two of us, and we can only carry so much water. We both had a ton of water. Plus we had all this camera equipment, extra batteries, all that stuff. So it was a task. And we always bring water filtration stuff so that if we
got to have water to filter, though.
Got to have water to filter. Turns out it's pretty dry out there. We did find a creek that had a little bit of standing water in it. So that would have been an emergency use only. But we made our way to a bit of running water, filtered some water. But I had to get on there on Monday. God, that doesn't even feel like that was yesterday.
It feels like a week ago.
Point,
man. Yeah.
I did a quick live from the forest, and I think it was Foggy Mountain Witch. She goes, Jesse, are you without your signature eyeliner? I was like, that eyeliner got just wiped and sweated off like hours ago. So Yeah, it was a rough one. It was a rough one. And, you know, we got back, we got done, we got some food in us, got a couple of Gatorades in us, and changed up, geared up all of our stuff, got our stuff set up. We are going to go do a night investigation because we had a couple of locations that we wanted to do our night investigation at. So we went out there, and it was probably the scariest place I have ever
It was
been to.
creepy as hell.
It was so creepy. It was oppressive. It was claustrophobic. It was just, it was like, it was too much, you know, it was
so
too
when
much.
we went up to the Uwharrie last time, that was like our initial run through there. A friend of ours, friend of the channel, whatever you want to call him, is up in there. He does a lot of like hiking up through there. He's had his own encounters in the Uwharrie. We leveraged him for a little bit of like insider information when we went last time, but last time we had some weird audio. We went to that cemetery and everything like that. But for those of you who are like familiar with the Uwharries, it's in North Carolina. It's not the biggest national forest out there, but you can't go just on the acreage that's within the boundaries of the national forest because there is a lot of privately owned forested land up there. There's just not a lot of people up there. But if you look online, and there's this conception, and there's a conception of people that go to the Uwharries as well, that the Uwharrie is just packed with people because there's a couple of popular off-roading trails up there. On the weekends, those get packed, like packed. And there's a couple of campgrounds where you can take a shower and stuff like that down near the water's edge, near the lake. So those are busy.
Yeah, that's near Lake Baden. So the Uwharrie is divided into a couple of sections. And here's the thing too. And I know that Joe has got a line here. He's got a line of thinking here that he wants to kind of share with you guys. But I just want to say that this is our second expedition out there. And how many expeditions to the LBL did it take before we really got a handle on the place? A lot. So we are just learning like where all these sections are, what happens in this section, who goes to this section, you know, what's kind of happening there. So the only section that we really saw anybody in, and it was very few people, was around the Baden Lake recreation area. There is a campground over there that's right on the water that weren't even full, and it's the middle of summer. But go on.
So I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
So our conception, which was based upon when we were there last time, there were people there, you know what I'm saying? But you always hear that the Uwharrie National Forest is, and I think we've even said it on the show before, like overrun with people hunting Bigfoot, you know?
Yeah.
Overrun with like recreational people, you know, people that are outdoor recreation type activities. So, and it's like that on certain days and in certain areas. But the thing that kind of surprised us is that when those RV people, well, not the RV people, when the overlander people, you know, the off-road people leave, ain't that many people around up there. No. We spent like a day just kind of like getting a lay of the land and like driving around and everything. And we're in the middle of summer right now. Dry weather. It was hot, but it was dry. You know what I'm saying? It's hot everywhere right now. The campgrounds down around where we live at, every single campground is booked out well in advance.
Yeah.
Every damn day of the week. You want to try to go on like a Wednesday? You should have booked it a few months ago because it's going to be booked.
Yeah, absolutely. Summers are always just packed around here. And we have a ton of campgrounds around here. They actually don't have a lot of campgrounds in that area, but there's nobody there. But we have a ton here, and they're absolutely packed.
So what kind of shocked us on is like Saturday, yeah, there's people there. But then getting into Sunday, I'm like, where the hell is everybody going to? You know? And you'll see it. We got footage, but there's like just campgrounds up there that are just, you know, they're unused. Ain't nobody been in them for a while. They're not closed off. You know what I'm saying? That's not like the LBL where like it's closed off and they're trying to erase the existence. There's just nobody there. And I'm going, this is not like what I expected from the Uwharries. The other thing, excuse me, that we are both choked up because it's dry as a
It's
bone
so
up there,
dusty.
Ray. So dusty up there. We were unloading equipment, and I'm going, everything is just covered in dust. We're covered in dust. So, but anyway,
Dusty old hellbenders.
is that when you look at the history of the Bigfoot and the Uwharries, at least from the public consumption, and maybe it was just me, maybe I'm completely off base, maybe other people had a different opinion on it, but it's that kind of goofy, cartoonish,
going squatching
type Bigfoot stuff that a lot of that's kind of put out for like tourism, basically.
Yeah.
You know, there's been some serious people involved in like Bigfoot research up there. You know, Mike Green had the squeaky thermal image or video that I'm sure people have seen. Julie Wrench was doing some audio work up there for a while, catching some interesting like howls and screams and whatnot. But most of what is going on up there now, to the little extent that it is mostly just that goofy kind of just, there's cartoons, Bigfoots everywhere. And it's just kind of that kind of goofy. Bigfoot
There is a bar and grill that is located just on the outside of the Uwharrie National Forest that is the Bigfoot bar and grill. So it's Bigfoot themed.
Yeah.
So it's got a Bigfoot with sunglasses and a bandana on.
So we went up there because our local guy that we're friends with up there let us know about a strange, and we'd just been talking about this on the show a few weeks ago. Keep your eyes open because it feels like something's building. And these strange animal attacks, are we in for a summer of that? Both like weird animal attacks on people and mysterious animal attacks on like livestock and pets and whatnot. Black bears, coyotes, everything like that, they don't usually attack people. Okay. They usually, if that happens, the animal's either, even then when it's old and everything like that, there's just a lot of people attacks. There's, it's very, very rare that coyotes attack people, that black bears attack people. And there's been a few of those in the news lately. Remember, wasn't that too terribly long ago that people claimed that a black bear attacked somebody sleeping in a hammock?
Yes.
Or what they assumed was a black bear.
Yes.
So there was a couple of hikers attacked up in the Uwharries back in, was that April?
April.
Yes. Very end of April, like April 28th, 29th. They were attacked by a coyote, supposedly. And it was weird because obviously they're not going to share these people's names if these people don't want their names shared. But there's like notices everywhere up there. But there's really not a lot of details. There's a lot of watch out.
Very, very open-ended, very ambiguous.
Very ambiguous, but it's on every campground. It's anywhere you go to, there are these notices going, be aware of where you're at. Keep your eyes open. Notify the local ranger district if you notice any strange animal activity. But the other thing we realized too is there's no damn ranger. There's no ranger stations up there.
There is no ranger station open to the public at all.
Yeah.
The only ranger station there is closed to the public. We didn't see a single ranger patrolling anywhere.
We didn't see anybody in authority until we left the county. We saw like a cop like on a highway, and I was going, that's the first cop we've seen all week.
But there was way less, and I hate to constantly compare something to the LBL, but the LBL is scant on any sort of patrol or official presence. This is even worse.
There ain't nobody there. And the other thing that struck me is the amount of long-term campers that are up there, where you'll go down like a little road and just a little spur, and then you can kind of see off the road back into the trees. It's not a campsite or anything like that, but you can tell that this dude's setting up shop for a while.
Yeah.
We saw one guy with like a homemade trailer. You could tell he'd been there for a while and he wasn't leaving anytime soon. And that corresponded with one of the witness accounts that Jesse came across. One of the, and again, we're thinking Uwharrie, and we went there last time. It was pretty lighthearted, We're going to the Uwharries,
It was initially, last time was, we did a live investigation that we have on the channel, and we kind of just wanted to get a little introduction to it and kind of drive around, scout some stuff out.
Because it's close to us.
Yeah.
But it's just the activity there. I'll be honest with you. We've talked about it in the past that it was probably just Bigfoot researchers howling in one meadow, and then the next group of Bigfoot researchers in the next meadow were hearing them and then howling back, and everybody left with an encounter story that weekend. And it doesn't seem to be the case right now. The people who are associated with the Bigfoot topic, and I'm sure that there's some people out there that we're unaware of, but like the ones the few that you kind of see, it's more like a merchandising type thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're associated with Bigfoot because they're trying to sell Bigfoot related merchandise.
Yes.
So we heard Jesse found the story after we heard about the coyote attack, and it was a guy that was homeless, that was long-term camping in there, that said that he was hearing screams and howls outside of his camp, seeing like shadowy figures, like, kind of looking in on his camp.
He described what he saw as 6.5 to 7 feet tall and black, very dark fur, on 2 legs, humanoid, and that it would scream and yell, and it was active at night specifically. It got so bad for this gentleman that he was living in terror out there. Not only was he homeless and having to live in the national forest as a last resort, he was now in this national forest living in terror every night of his life. He ended up building his fire really big and staying up all night, constantly feeding his fire to try to keep this thing at bay, and then sleeping during the day. And he lived through that cycle for months.
And he finally
gave up. And
he gave up after having a very harrowing night when he heard a lot of crashing, screaming, and everything like that around his camp. He went out when the sun came up and he found feral hogs just torn limb from limb, like just ripped to shreds up there. Now, I've never even really seen any. Now, again, we have very limited experience up there, but and feral hogs are pretty much everywhere all over the South at this point, but you hadn't really seen a lot of like hog activity there. But obviously they're there, and obviously something's ripping the hell out of them. So he packed up what little he had and left out. So we started to kind of look at that, and I'm just going, maybe there's something more to the Uwharrie than what we've kind of dismissed it in the past. You know what I'm saying? And my impression was always just,
we had a lot of misconceptions.
It's a national forest.
Yeah.
There's people, there's surrounding communities. It's easy for people to kind of get into. Let's go squatching. And there's a place up there that actually Alan Lassiter had asked about this. There's a place right on the outskirts of the Uwharrie called the Outpost, El Dorado Outpost. And that is, whenever you see news stories talking about Bigfoot in the Uwharrie, they always talk about how that's where the Bigfoot hunters gather at every morning, and they get, they buy their supplies, and, they kind of do that, and then they scatter out to the Uwharries. As far as I can tell, there ain't none of that going on anymore.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
No.
And it's just, it's weird because
they do have chicken fingers.
They do have good chicken fingers, but so we're looking, and we started like diving deeper into it after hearing about these coyote attacks and coming up with all of these like witness accounts that I guess didn't really match the theme of the Disney-fied kind of
Harry brother,
Harry and the Hendersons type thing. So they really never got any leg room. But then there's other stuff as well. Can we mention his name? Is he okay with us mentioning his name?
Okay. Maybe.
Maybe. I should probably not mention. Anyway, a friend of ours.
I don't know.
Has had a couple of orb sightings up there.
Mm-hmm.
Much like a lot of the other national forests in the OBL, the area is dotted with old cemeteries, the ruins of homesteads.
So the Uwharries are actually the oldest mountain range in the country, and one of the oldest mountain ranges in the world. That's why they're so the elevation is so low. They're sub 1,000 feet mountains because you've got millennia of erosion on those mountains. I mean, that's why they're not these great Rocky Mountains, because that's a younger mountain range. They're very old, and there has been evidence of human habitation in that area stretching back. One report I saw said that it was stretching back 10,000 years.
Well, human habitation on North America gets written in stone and then pushed back pretty, I don't want to say constantly, but it happens. But so looking at over, we go up, and we're we're going, man, these like witness reports and these encounters and whatnot don't jive with what we think of as the Uwharrie. My impression of the Uwharrie is very cartoonish interpretation of Bigfoot, overran with people hunting Bigfoot. One of the reports, one of the like the news stories said that, oh, every morning at this outpost, it's filled with expensive RVs. It's where all the Bigfoot hunters are. They have all their expensive equipment. They gather in the back of the store, then they spread out all over the Uwharries. Everybody who we talked to up there, were just kind of like, I don't want to say shocked, but surprised by what we were doing. You know? It just doesn't seem like, outside of the merchandising aspect of it, that a lot of that goes on seriously.
And I think that
or at least publicly goes on. So I'm sure there's some people up there engaged privately that you never hear about that are serious as a freaking heart attack.
Yeah, but that sounds like such a like a narrative, like a tale. It's like, yes, the old guard gathers by the fireplace.
And Lisa Johnson goes, I'm not sure what a waste of my time if it's over with other investigators. That's why we never really went.
Yeah, why it's not. So what we're saying is it's
not. It's really not. It's just, and I think the people that are, again, I don't want to speak in absolutes because you never have all the data, but it seems like a lot of the people that were sticking to these structured campgrounds, kind of just hanging out, doing a little bit of, there's going out and doing investigations, and then and Sawdust Beast is in here, and you remember his truck. Forgot that's somebody serious about it. There's people that are serious about it, and you can tell almost damn near immediately that you're dealing with somebody serious about it, from the level of time and effort that they put into it. And then there's people that do it more casually, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't seem like there's hardly much of anything going on up there as far as an effort to look into this stuff. And from what we were digging up, there's still a lot going on up there, and not all of it's nice. Not all of it's friendly.
There is certainly a lot going on up there, and it goes a lot deeper than just these basic Bigfoot stories. And even all the encounters that I looked at, and I've done several hours of research at this point, and lots of research. I have pages and pages of encounters. None of them, maybe one or two, are just your basic surface, what you would call a classic encounter with Sasquatch. There are so many encounters that have a intense supernatural bend
and an aggressive
and supernatural bend that I think that may scare off more conventional investigators.
Because there's a lot of folklore in that area of hauntings, haunted forests. There's a ton of occult activity that goes on up there. Some of the volunteers who kind of keep the trails like cleared out. One of them had gotten in touch with us going, hey, they just went into one of these like just cemeteries back in the woods that it's just basically, it's been overtaken by the forest, but the tombstones are still there. Can't even really call them tombstones. The shaped river rocks that they have used for headstones are still there. And a lot of the volunteers, they were hauling out candles, occult paraphernalia, cleaning it up, because obviously there had been ritualistic activity taking place there.
And it seems like it's happening on a recurring basis.
And what we found is that these cemeteries where it's happening to, there's usually three categories when we're dealing with like outdoors occult type stuff. Two of them that we'll talk about are that casual, just that kind of rural teenage stoner metalhead likes to scrawl, stuff. A lot of the stuff comes from D&D and, just the stuff they just kind of make up. And then there's one of the other ones is a more sophisticated, more dangerous group of people that are involved in this occult activity.
One of the sites that we scouted out and checked out, which was a site of some of this occult activity, is really far.
There's
really far back.
Teenage stoner metal kids ain't hiking stuff out there.
It was to get there was just a heartbreaker.
It was a heartbreaker.
The heat aside, the heat was pretty bad. That was just insult to injury when it came to doing that hike. But the hike was pretty bad, and it was kind of difficult to find some of these locations.
Yeah.
So if you have just a casual the armchair casual occultists, the weekend occultists
are not going to put
are not
themselves
going
through that
to
physical.
do that. And also
exertion.
haul that much ritual material out there. That one of the trail cleaning groups said that they hauled out 28 pounds of candles, just candles. And in addition to that, other paraphernalia. And this has happened on several occasions at this point.
So you got that going on. And again, some of these encounters are more aggressive. One guy talked about how he and his friend were in like a overlanding vehicle with like a rooftop tent. And
it was a Jeep or a truck, and they had a small trailer that they were pulling behind them.
Mhm.
And the small trailer had the rooftop tent on it. So you have a trailer holding their equipment, and then you have the rooftop tent on top of the small trailer.
Yeah.
It was kind of a homemade kind of rig or setup. So it was a guy and his brother, and it was almost exactly a year ago from now. And they pulled into a camp area. It was an off-road camp area. It wasn't like an established campground, but they pulled in there. And there's a lot of these places off these gravel roads. The place is just completely crisscrossed with all these Forest Service roads with little areas where you can pull off and kind of set up camp for the night. They had pulled off into this little area and they set up camp for the night. And they were in the tent. It was a guy and his brother, and they were asleep. And then in the middle of the night, the older brother started hearing these footfalls, and it was bipedal footfalls coming up the hill towards their tent. And it was heavy, really, really heavy. And then all of a sudden, the whole trailer began to shake, and then it stopped. And this guy's terrified, like absolutely terrified. And then he hears it walk around the trailer, grab the other side where his brother's asleep. His brother slept through the entire thing, which is exactly what I would probably do.
Yeah.
And you would be up firing rounds into the sky or something. But it came and it shook the trailer, just shook it violently, and then let it go. And then whatever this was, this guy's so terrified he can't even look outside the tent. I mean, it scared the crap out of him. He hears it walk away, and it's these loud footfalls. He hears it walk away, and then it starts rummaging through everything at his camp. He hears just things clattering around, getting banged around and everything. He stayed in the tent, and then finally dawn came. It was silent after that. Finally dawn came, and he got out of his tent, and it looked like nothing in his camp was disturbed at all. He heard all of the stuff clanging around, getting rummaged through, and nothing in the tent was disturbed at all. What does that remind you of? That's exactly what happened to Ron Moorhead in the Sierra.
Yeah, it's true.
Camp,
it's a good point.
Is they heard what sounded like rummaging, clattering, clanging. And then when they went out after it stopped the next morning, it looked like nothing had been touched at all.
Well, so there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on there. And we had to, and again, when we heard about the coyote attack, I just, you know what, here's the deal. Sometimes it's just a coyote attack. You know what I'm saying? Just because it doesn't happen all the time, it doesn't mean it
Is
never
this one of those
happens.
sometimes it's just a cigar?
Yeah, exactly. So, but then we started to like look into some more of this stuff, and Jesse was doing by far the vast majority of this stuff. And we were just looking, and I was going, man, there's a lot going on in the Uwharrie. There's really a lot going on in the Uwharrie. But why are we only hearing this from the witness aspect? People are talking about it on Reddit. People are talking about it on like Facebook groups. People are talking about it on other message boards and forums. You don't really hear somebody going, I took a report from a gentleman who told me blah, 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 blah. It's the witnesses themselves talking about it. So I think that the Uwharrie there's stuff going on up there.
Oh, for sure.
And there are times when large swaths of the Uwharrie National Forest is empty. There ain't that much there. There's a shadier, sketchier element up there than what we originally anticipated.
Yeah.
Again, not
That's
a ton of them.
a human element.
Yeah, human element, but it's
Specify.
shady. It's sketchy. It's a little, we were driving around because we were going, wow, man, a lot of these campgrounds, like these campsites are empty. So we go through one, and there's a single like female there camping by herself. And she's like got stuff spread out like everywhere. I mean, she's got like camp, and this is late in the day.
Yeah.
And
she was actually sitting out there. She had a lot of stuff spread out. She was actually sitting out in a hammock beside her car. It was connected to 2 trees beside her car, and she's in a hammock reading.
Yeah.
So she's relaxing, everything's spread out, and she's relaxing.
Fire was just starting up, you could tell, and well away from her. And we even laughed, and I said, she ain't getting no close to that fire,
because it was so dang hot. Yeah.
And
she probably built it for the mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes, yeah. And so we came back a few hours later, and it had been dark for a couple of hours. She was gone. And I'm even going, and we even went, I just said, I wonder if that girl's ever seen anything or heard anything out here. And then we went back through, and the campsite's empty. I don't think anything strange happened. I think she packed up and got the hell out.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, it's awful late in the day to break camp like that when you had so much stuff around. But maybe she did, maybe she didn't. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But I was like, that was our one camper gone now. So the terrain's not that bad out there as far as like hilliness or anything like that. It is hot as heck, but it's hot everywhere right now. Really dry. What's dry here too? We came back and I'm going, man, we haven't had a lick of rain like since we left out. Something's attacking hikers up there. We heard a rumor of another coyote attack that took place up there, but I haven't seen anything on the news for it. So I don't know if that's a made up story or something else happened. I don't.
That's definitely something I'm going to be digging into.
So
in my deep dive. But
if it is coyotes, you still got coyotes that are attacking people. If there's something else going on and that's a cover story, that's something to be looked into. Obviously there's snakes there, and we found this group of kind of just exposed boulders that look like standing stones. They look like Paleolithic standing stones, menhirs is what they're called. Just these standing stones that used to have like cultural significance.
Oh, we're getting to this story now.
Yeah, so this found
is what they all came for.
We found them, and we found them, and we were like, oh my Lord, these are like magnificent.
Oh, they're beautiful. They're huge. So I think the shortest one is probably 6 feet tall, and they're just these beautiful giant boulders. The shortest one's about 6 feet tall. The largest one was
40 feet tall.
Yeah, about 40 feet.
It's insane.
And they are just dotting the landscape in this one little area. And they're just huge, beautiful, beautiful, smooth boulders. One has this amazing crack down like through the middle of it. But go on.
So so it's wild. And we were there and we were just going, man, this place feels significant. It feels like mystical. Didn't have a bad feeling at all. It felt like it was very wondrous there. We were going, wow, this place is great. We've got to do a night investigation here, and we're gonna like do a deep hike into like one of these like cemeteries and check that spot out and And we hike in, and just hiking in was weird. We go past a couple of tents that are just kind of off in the woods. And I'm like, hey, let's just keep it quiet while we're going by there. And then Jesse goes, I don't think there's anybody there. So we go up. They didn't look like abandoned, like the ones we found at the LBL, that like they were fallen in and one of them like ripped up and everything and like personal effects strewn.
No, it wasn't like that at all.
There wasn't anybody there though. And these tents were in pretty good condition.
Yeah.
So we're going, that's weird. So we're going into the forest and it just gets, it gets like tenser and tenser and tenser. And more tenser. What's proper? Thank you for that, Vincent.
Thank you, Vincent.
We greatly appreciate
it.
That'll go to snakebite venom, anti-venom.
Oh yes, the anti-venom protocol.
So
we've got to get to that story at some point in time.
But thank you for that so much, Vincent.
Thank you,
we greatly
Vincent
appreciate
That
it.
is really cool of you.
So we go in at night, and it's just weird. And Jesse did the majority of the actual research going in. I was getting equipment ready and everything like that. And then we were comparing notes so I could kind of determine what our loadout was going to look like. There's some mysterious light phenomenon. So we took some psionics cameras. Our thermals, obviously. The Uwharrie is known for like Bigfoot screams. So we took some audio setups, everything like that. But we're going down this path and I hear like children's voices and I'm going, the hell? And I go, and Jesse's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I just heard like kids' voices. Let me double check the GPS just to make sure we're not near like an actual campground or anything like that. And we check it. We're like, we're nowhere near anything.
We were out in the middle of nowhere.
And then Jesse's like flipping out going,
It lines up. It lines up.
Because there's a cemetery near there, extremely close to that area, where
I can tell the story if you want me to.
Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
So there's a cemetery extremely close to that area, and I didn't really tell Joe this entire story, which is why I got so excited when he. Of course, I guess I shouldn't get so excited when I hear about disembodied dead children laughing.
No, that's not something really kind of.
But it's like I flipped out because I said, "What did you hear?" And he's like, "I heard like children laughing." Here's why I flipped out is very close to that area. There's a cemetery from the late 1700s where there was a homestead out there, and this entire family is buried out there. Well, there was this gentleman out there who lived there with his wife and their 4 children. Well, when influenza came into the area, his wife and his 4 children all died from influenza. Apparently, this gentleman, after their deaths, continued to set their places at the table, cook food for them, wash and put their clothes out as if they were all still there.
Mm-hmm.
And the local postman even reported that every time he would go up there, he would hear the children laughing in the house or hear the children laughing around the property. And so now that's kind of a thing that's permeated through the years, that in those woods, in that area, you can hear the sound of children's laughter. And I never told you that prior to us going in there.
And somebody had mentioned foxes. It's not a fox. We hear foxes out, not all the time, but we hear foxes on the regular. And this was children's voices, like conversational, it was just bizarre. It was just so weird. And then anyway, so we were already kind of like popping in and, just kind of like looking around in all directions. And we were just going, all right, this is so weird. And so we go up to these like standing stones, and we go in, we kind of scan the area to make sure everything looks good. Jesse's like scanning with the thermal. There's so much exposed rock, and it was so hot through there. Thank you so much, Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia. That is badass.
Well, thank you. That is amazing. Thank you so, so much. We'll put that towards defraying the costs. And then hold on 1 second. Is it Stitch Witch's birthday?
It is.
Hey,
yes, it is.
Stitch Witch. We Stitch Witch is doing some hats up for us too. When we got out of the woods, we saw
Lady will post it up here. So yep. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh yeah. Dewey sent me a preview. Yeah, we have hats being crafted by the loving hands of the Stitch Witch right now as we speak. I got a preview of some of the special edition hats. I know you guys have been asking for this, so we went ahead, we got the order put in. So we're waiting for all of these to be hand created with all their beauty and magnificence. But we got a preview of the special edition ones we're having made, and they look amazing.
Michael Tovar, thank you so much. Really enjoy your content and field research for your snacks and Gatorade. Stay hydrated and safe.
You would not believe how much Gatorade we went through.
How much like liquid IVs we went through, and just like everything like that. It was just next to them. And it was so, we complained about the humidity all the time. And like one day it would be like very humid. And then the next day, Jesse's like going, I need to get like extra chapstick because my lips are drying out. It's so dry. But thank you so much for that, Michael. We greatly appreciate it.
And I got to try a new processed and cured meat product this weekend. So there's always a victory.
What's up, MK Ultra?
Hello, MK.
We were just talking about you.
Yes, we didn't know if we could mention you.
Can we mention you? Just say yes or no in the chat,
puts him on the spot, doesn't it?
Yes, just say if we can mention, But so we go into these standing stones and we're looking around and everything like that. But you're investigating an area, you got to investigate an area. So we go in and we're going, and I'm just going, man, the feel here is completely. We were expecting to, when it got tense in the woods, to get up near the standing stones. All right, so our buddy MK Ultra that's on here has a ultralight hiking channel that also delves into time travel, portals, and a lot of other craziness. And he is our North Carolina guy. He was kind enough to share some of this stuff with us.
He's sort of our Uwharrie Sherpa.
Yeah, he's like the Uwharrie division of Hellbent Holler at this point. Shared a lot of stuff that he had experienced and he'd also heard by virtue of being up there. So we weren't sure if we could mention you, but now we're going to mention the hell out of you.
Yeah.
So we're going through the woods and it's tense. We heard these kids' voices. And to be honest, at that point, we hadn't really seen or heard anything, but it was just a feeling. And I even went, all right, now listen, we've spent our time looking into some of these reports. Are we allowing our imaginations to run away from us? And I'm going, I don't think that's the case. Because even then It was all conceptual to me at that point, and up until that point, it just felt oppressive and ominous, and we were really looking forward to getting to these standing stones because they had such a good feeling. They didn't have a good feeling that night.
No, it was quite the opposite.
They felt threatening and just ominous, and like we weren't supposed to be there.
But knowing us and how we are and our personalities, we continue to press forward. So we go amongst these, and this is off trail. We start going into this area where these stones are.
And they get the big ones all the way in the back.
Yeah.
They get larger as you go back in, and there's multiples. You have to kind of wend your way through them.
I pull out the tri-field meter because you get such a intense energy off of them.
Mm-hmm.
You get a feeling there. You feel something there. It feels like it is and was a place of significance.
Well, I mean,
at
again,
some point
through most of human culture and history, whether they were erected by people themselves or they were natural formations, usually places like that occupy a special place of importance in the religion of a people.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these have giant cracks going through them. And that's significant because a lot of cultures would look at those cracks as gateways almost, sometimes to the afterlife, the other world. And there's a lot of those through there. So we go in and we had to, again, most of our weight is water, batteries, camera equipment, the normal stuff you have, flashlights. We had a snake bite kit, luckily. But we just, the heat, it was obviously affecting what we could do to a great deal. So we took a bunch of stuff with us because of all the paranormal stuff up there. We couldn't carry it all. So Jesse pops out the tri-field meter, which makes the.
Well, it's like a.
I mean, go grab it. Quick, that's the best
grab it.
It.
It's the best illustration. Did you mention what we didn't have?
No.
He didn't mention what we didn't have. Because we almost died of heat stroke earlier, we didn't have our snake gaiters on. We did not wear our snake gaiters at all. I didn't wear my snake boots. I have some Danner snake boots. I didn't wear those. And we did not wear our snake gaiters because we were like, okay, it's 1,000 degrees and we're about to die of heat stroke. So the gator's holding so much heat on us. We're like, all right, it's okay. It's nighttime. The temperature dropped a little bit. It's, only 80 degrees now. So we should be okay. So we went out there without our snake gaiters on in this area of large standing warm stones. So the more that I talk about this and recount this and come over the story again, I realize how stupid we are. So I mentioned that we didn't wear our snake gaiters, and I'm realizing how stupid that all sounds.
We would never have made it in with that heat on. So
it's heat stroke or snake bite.
So we've got the tri-field. Jesse pops it out, and let me see if I can. Maybe the phantom power of the mics will set it off. But no.
If you move it a lot, there you go.
So you hear that little clicking sound?
That's why if somebody's ever moving the tri-field and they get high readings, don't trust it, because when you move it, it'll go off.
If you just whip it real quick, you're gonna have a quick spike and then it'll go. But if you see people that are constantly jiggling these
and they're going off,
that's a false reading.
On. Yeah.
But if you can hear that clicking noise, so
I had that in my hand and I stepped up on a smaller rock. So I'm standing on a smaller rock and I've got this in my hand. And it's going, and I'm reading out the readings, and I've got my flashlight, and I'm watching this. And Joe's right over here, and I'm standing here, and I'm hearing like a crinkling. And I'm like, is that this? So I take this, and I put it away from myself, and I hear this crinkling, but it's a constant crinkling, like on this side of me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like constantly going. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Because anytime I hear like a crinkling of the leaves, I always like want to see the frog. I want to see the lizard that's running around. I'm ADD, like, and I just want to see what little creature is out there. So I know it sounds like I was hearing
So I don't know how the hell she heard that because the tri-field is getting spikes at that point.
Yeah.
Next to these rocks, not huge spikes.
Because I have like the biggest rock behind me.
But it's a constant. And then all of a sudden, and then I'm getting ready to like kind of start to move around to the other side of the rocks because you can't see. I mean, these things are massive. And I even went at one point, I was like, man, it'd be easy for stuff to hide out here. Dead end yard hunt. I heard that y'all need a donkey on the live stream. We damn well, this is the one time we could have used 2 donkeys.
Yeah.
One donkey for equipment, one donkey for water. Thank you for that, buddy. We appreciate that. We shared your Dogman werewolf head.
Yeah, this is really
on social media because it looks so awesome. So if you guys haven't seen that, check out Jesse's page and check out the awesome work. But all of a sudden, Jesse just goes, stand there for a second.
I go, don't move. No, actually, I make my classic noise. Yeah. And then I go, don't move. Joe's like, huh? What? Huh? Like, don't move. There was a rattlesnake. I have never been in the presence of a rattlesnake.
That you knew of.
Well, that I knew of. I've never seen a rattlesnake in the wild in my life. I have never seen one in the wild in my life. But there is a rattlesnake. I've got my flashlight and I see it. And it's 3 feet away from me. It's 3 feet away from me. Joe's right here. I'm standing here on top of this rock and it's 3 feet away from me, going across the leaves. And it's 5 feet long. It is the biggest freaking thing I've ever seen. And it's terrifying. So I actually was pretty calm.
You were very calm. Yeah, you were very, very calm. And it's weird because... So we're watching it go, and it's a big snake. It's a as Jesse called it, that's a big boy. And I'm going, very stressful moment right now. We see one snake. We don't know how many other snakes are around us. And all of a sudden she turns in, and it's like a real Southern kind of, that's a big boy. And I'm like, you sound like Buford T. Justice from like Smokey and the Bandit. Like, what the hell is this? You know?
I went into a weird mode where I was like very calm, and I'm like, and Joe's like freaking out, and I was like, it's all right, we're gonna just let this boy go on your way, son. And I'm just like talking to the snake, like, let's just let him go, let's let him go on his way. And he just cruised right past us. It was terrifying, but I didn't have that weird like a adrenaline dump, you know. I was just like, and I'll tell you what exactly happened is I was doing some reading earlier in the day on some stuff in the Uwharrie. And there's one area that is really bad with rattlesnakes this time of year. And we're like, all right, we're not going to go to that area. But in the little thing that I was reading, the article that I was reading, they were talking about rattlesnakes. And there was one line that said, rattlesnakes, while terrifying, are actually very docile. So I'm staring at this snake, and it's like 3 feet away from me. It's giant. And if it bites us, we're going to die. Like, if that snake bites Joe or I, or both
dehydrated.
We're dehydrated. We're hours from medical help. We would have to hike all the way out of there. Our blood would pump all over all through our bodies. We would be dead. If that snake bit one of us or both of us, we'd both be dead. And I'm looking at it, and all I hear in my head is docile. And
he's pretty docile. He just went on by. Somebody asked if he rattled. His rattle went up a little bit. He kind of like looked at us. He went on. But at that point, we were like, all right, we checked for snakes, but obviously snakes are on the move right now. And from what we heard, as rattlesnakes are terrible in certain areas up there. MK had told us about a campsite that we're not going to name, but a campsite up there that has a lot of paranormal activity to it, but you can't go there in the warmer months because it's infested with rattlesnakes. We heard of a cave up there that has some paranormal connotations, where like some deserters during the Civil War were basically executed. You can't go there in the warmer months because it's so overrun with rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mark D. Real quick aside, barbecue Vienna sausages and blueberry top tarts. Fun.
Barbecues were
Jesse had approximately 7 different types of meat byproduct sticks.
They're not byproduct. Well, they are.
They're byproducts.
There's some byproducts.
Right.
One was made with beef heart. That's very good for you.
Okay. As you tell me, I kind of keep telling yourself that. But I mean, every time we would go to the outpost, and they got a big supply of it, is that Jesse was getting like, let me try this one. And then as we were leaving today, she even goes, you know, my favorite part about going to these areas is to just sample all of the local dried
cured meats
meats that they have. So thank you for that. We're greatly appreciative. But
my favorite one was the sweet and smoky elk stick.
She did like that smoky, but it was It was a big rattlesnake, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a big
It
rattlesnake.
was a thick boy.
But you know what? Here's the deal. He didn't rattle on us. He wasn't threatened. But at the same token, we got off the rocks, and we knew that going there was going to be a danger. But we thought we'd check on them.
Yeah. So at that moment, I go, "F this, we're done," and we have to get the heck out of there because we're all the way at the rear of where all of these stones are. Now these stones are surrounded by leaf litter that's about a foot and a half thick. And these are warm stones all around us. We're in this just center of all these giant stones that are holding heat, that are attracting snakes. And then there's leaf litter all around us. So I was like, F this, we're done, and we're getting out of here. So we
go into snake heavy areas, but you know what? Generally, it doesn't look like it sometimes because y'all are seeing a clip of it, but generally we're pretty cautious on it. But with this, I was just going, they're on the move, man, and it's heavy. And if we're seeing one, there's a bunch that we ain't seeing right now. We need to get of this particular area.
Yeah.
So we had to call it and go to another part of the Uwharries and try to check it out and try to make sure they're there. But I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, literally, we were just going, we can't do this area until it's colder, until the cold weather moves in. We're not gonna be able to do this area. So it but it was crazy. It was a big boy. And Jesse's got snake boots. We both have snake gaiters that our friend Centurion, I don't even know if Centurion's on here, sent us. But also we were overheating just carrying like packs with water and stuff like that. So we had to prioritize. And then when we realized we couldn't do it without snake gaiters and all that, we had to cut out. So a couple quick things here. Alan Howell goes, my wife Jerry wants to know what kind of eyeliner you use.
I have tried so many different ones, and a lot of them just do not last. I have one that I love, but you can't find it anywhere. It's Umoa Aphrodisiac Cleopatra Black, and I cannot find that anywhere. That's my favorite. But lately I've been wearing KVD ink liner, and it's been doing okay for me.
She wasn't wearing any out there because she would stop and she'd go, how's my eyeliner looking? I'd be like, you don't have any on right now.
Yeah,
you've
like
sweated. The heat and the sweat has taken it off. Thank you for that, Alan. But so yeah, the Uwharries. There's stuff going on up there.
Yeah.
Either coyotes are attacking people or something else is going on. There is a shadier human element. And now we didn't have any run-ins with anybody. I haven't heard any stories of that, but going into some of these areas, you would go, there's nobody out here for outdoor recreation, but that dude over there looks like he's living out here because he doesn't think there's anybody around this area. You've always got to be aware of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of paranormal stories going on in that. One of the other things that is odd, and we're not going to name the exact location, but
Quartz is here. What's up, Quartz?
What's up, Quartz? One of the areas up there, we were having trouble finding maps on it. And I'm even looking at like privately generated up map downloads for my Garmin, and I'm not seeing a lot for this particular area.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not really seeing much. And this area has a lot of the remnants of old homesteads to it. It was just acquired in the last few decades, if I remember correctly. You might have to correct me on that, but it wasn't always public land out there. It was a lot of privately held land.
The other part, the upper part was one wilderness area that up there was acquired in 1984. It was established in 1984 as a part of a wilderness area.
So they were trying to find information on it, and you can find ghost stories and stuff like that. But we're trying to find like directions, maps, everything like that, and we can't really find a lot. And I find an article and I'm reading it, and it's one of the guys from like the rangers that are in charge of that district. And he says in the article, he goes, we don't really do a lot of maps or release a lot of maps on this area. And we're letting a lot of these trails kind of get taken back over and go wild. We want people to kind of discover it for themselves. We don't want this to become everybody's like favorite spot. So we don't do a lot to really make it easy to access.
And I get preserving nature. I love that.
Oh, absolutely. So
I am a huge supporter of that. I hate that where we live is getting so overrun with people. And then the geotagging of locations and how that ruins all these beautiful locations. At the same time, it's very dangerous to have a wilderness like that with like such a lid on information.
Well, you know, and they were like, we want people to discover it for themselves. And I'm just going, I don't, you know, it doesn't look like there's a lot of people discovering it out here, man.
Yeah,
There's just not
which
a
is
lot.
the intention.
Yeah. So one of the cemeteries we hiked back into that MK Ultra told us about, there's a campsite next to the cemetery, and there's a really distinct metal sign pointing to where the few remaining graves are. And we're like, man, I can't believe nobody hasn't stolen that yet. And then I'm just going, I just don't think anybody comes back here.
No.
The few people that come back there are probably pretty dedicated hikers that are able to get into that area.
Or
and
occultists.
they're not going to do, or the occultists. Another one, you know, so.
They could be one and the same. Hiker occultists.
Welcome to the channel, Carino. We got a lot of people that are new to the channel chiming in here. But so my thing is this, is that the Uwharrie, not the most difficult terrain we've ever had to traverse. It's been hot as hell the last, both times we've gone. And even some of the people we talked to up there, they were like, oh, it's going to cool off a lot in a week. And I'm like, oh, we just chose the wrong week. But very hot. If you're involved in off-roading, it's packed, and it's packed in the areas you go to. And it's packed when but here's the deal is that, and it seems like, and MK can chime in on this because obviously he has a much more experience in that area than we do. But I'm looking at it going, when it's busy as hell, and it's busy and everybody's congregated in certain areas. The rest of the time, we drove around one night, all night long, just exploring some of these roads. Even when you're in the LBL, there's vehicles on the trace. You'll occasionally bypass another vehicle. There's nobody else out there.
No.
We finally went, let's go to the most popular campground on the lake's edge. And there were a couple of vehicles there. And we were expecting that to be packed to the gills.
Yeah.
But there just wasn't anybody else out
Not
there.
really.
What are you laughing about?
Jesse, you are an occult hiker. I know him. Yes, I know. He's me. You're right.
Good Lord.
You're right. Corrected.
So I think that we're having to adapt our preconceived notions on the area.
And isn't that always the case? You know?
But I mean, people that go, oh, I go to the Uwharries all the time. There's too many people there. It's never even going to happen. And I'm going, you're probably going on the weekends. You're probably going into the off-roading areas. And guess what? There probably is not anything out of the ordinary happening when all of those people are in all these areas. But then come Sunday afternoon, when everybody leaves, the vibe changes a bit. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, some of these stories that we've heard, I start going, yeah, I can see this now. I can see where this would happen at. So it's something to kind of, it's our interest is peaked there. There are a lot of,
I think it really fits with our abilities, our interests,
cross spectrum, a lot of weird stuff going on.
I think it really fits with our how we do our work and what we dig into and what we're really good at doing.
Yeah.
I think it really fits with it. That's why in my live last night, I was saying, I think this is going to be a new project for us because, you know, what we did with the LBL is we really uncovered a lot of stuff that people either wouldn't or didn't, or were too lazy to uncover.
Dude, you're so late. We wished your wife a happy birthday at the top of the damn show. Happy birthday again, D. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Master Twitch.
But and surviving the strange. You mean four-wheelers aren't hearing the creepy stuff in the woods with all those engines going on? Well, the other thing too is that some of the trails for there, it's not the worst terrain. It ain't the best either. You know what I'm saying? And especially at night, you're having to really watch where you step at. And I even stopped Jesse at one point. I went, you realize something could be 10 feet away from us. We're looking down, trying not to break our necks right now. And we're out there looking for weird stuff. So we're trying to look around as much as possible, but you still got to watch where you walk. Snakes, rocks, all the other pitfalls of hiking, especially at night. And I'm going,
laughing ghost children.
But yeah, and I think so much of the activity out there is when you're hearing like outdoor activities in the Uwharries, it's mostly people on four-wheelers hanging out at the campgrounds, maybe some boating. There's a few people that are involved in like ultralight hiking that are like hardcore outdoorsmen, like MK. He had weird experiences out there.
Yeah, he just said he has a strange occurrence about every 3 years.
And he goes right now, I can vouch that people get to know you. They're more open to talking about the weirdness. Everyone experiencing something out there. I have a strange occurrence about every 3 years. Same way in South Carolina. You look at reported Bigfoot sightings in North Carolina, there's a ton, especially on the western edge. Reported Bigfoot sightings in Georgia, there's a ton, especially on the northern end. But then you look at South Carolina, there ain't much going on there. And I'm going, so does Sasquatch recognize state lines? And they're just stopping there at the state lines? No.
Again, we're going back to the Deuster. We always have to bring the Deuster up here. It's not like there's bass on one side of the lake.
So the people don't report it. They don't talk to it unless they get to know you. And then when we started releasing those South Carolina Bigfoot videos, the floodgates open.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm just going, did you ever report it to anybody? Hell no, I didn't report it to anybody. I'm talking to y'all about it. I appreciate it if you keep my name out of it. But they just don't report it to anybody. The same way up here. So thank you for that so much, Curtis Whitaker. Thank you. Going into the beef jerky.
Thank you, Curtis Whitaker. Yes.
Thank you so much. So
we're getting that elk jerky now, baby.
You're getting that, yeah. So you're moving up to the elk jerky.
I got a taste for the sweet and spicy elk.
I'm just going to get caught up on chat here real quick before we get back into this. Gardner, so from Central Scotland, your channel yesterday. Love your content. Thank you so much. Welcome to the channel.
And the Hellbenders International gang grows.
Scotland and Australia is going on strong. So Ghetto Yeti wants to know if we're going to put some pictures up. Yeah, we took photos. We've got night footage that up until, and we'll include the snake footage. We'll have to bleep some stuff out, obviously. But it is, Grizz wanted to know if it could be an ancient pagan ritual site. It had that feel, it had the look and it had the feel.
Yeah.
And that energy changed from day to night. So I'm extremely intrigued by that place. I want to get back in there. There might be information out there on it that we just haven't stumbled across yet. So.
But we are digging. Now, another thing too is we, Joe, while we're out there, so after the rattlesnake incident, Joe goes, I think we're going to take this as an indication that something doesn't want us there. So we're just going to go. Like it's trying to send us a message in a way.
Liz, new member. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the support. It is very crucial, especially for things like this. These sort of like expeditions aren't cheap, and we greatly appreciate your support.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for becoming a member.
And that allows us to share what we find and experience with you all. Love your content. I was watching old investigations. Did you ever go back to that man's house? He was seeing a lot of lights and shadow people. He was thinking about selling that property for a while. Last we heard from him. I don't know if he ever sold it at that point. But yeah, he was thinking about selling it and just finally just getting out and going somewhere else. So MK put in something interesting about Uwharrie. No permanent bear population at temperate weather. No large predators for competition. And it's, again, sometimes coyote attacks are a coyote attacks, but we're always aware. There seems to be a lot more feral dogs. Well, coyotes never attacked people, but they did this time.
Yeah.
And this time. And this time. But not that time, because that was actually a black bear, even though they don't usually attack people.
Listen, there's exceptions to the rule.
So
constantly.
So it's got our interests peaked.
For sure.
We're definitely peaked to go on that as well. We're going to have to, the environment and the terrain's going to dictate how we do it up there. We've got to wait till the weather gets a little cooler to go back up in there.
For safety. We did not, we were ill prepared to mentally and physically deal with what we dealt with. It was insanely difficult. As you guys probably saw on that live, we were dying. We were like on the verge of heat stroke.
I think I saw earlier, and because I was trying to catch up with the chat, but I think Martin Groves actually got heat stroke at the LBL this weekend, he said.
I mean, it was so bad, but I think we're definitely going to pursue this further.
We're going to pursue it further. You got to watch out, because like I said, there are, as of a few years ago, there were still some people involved with the topic of Bigfoot up there. And we were warned by a few people going, hey, you have to watch out for some of the people that are local to the area. If you leave out equipment, if they find it, they'll destroy it. They just don't want people up there. It's their spot, you know, even though it's public property, public land. So we have to
Be wary of that.
We have to be wary about that. We have to be wary of the coyote attacks or whatever the hell they are. Do you know what I'm saying? So definitely got to be worried. The snakes or something we're going to have to almost just let.
Are you going to suggest that we're just going to back away? We're going to give up? We're going to walk away?
Absolutely not. We're just going to like be a little bit more strategic. And we need to, I'm going to be honest with you, the areas that intrigue me the most are the ones that are most known for rattlesnake activity.
I know. And they're like the most dangerous. What does that tell you?
Yeah. So we've got to be able to get in there.
Yeah.
And I put that up a minute ago, but thank you for that, Emma Webb.
Be able to live to fight another day too.
Julie Bug's got something weird. There was the tri-field meter calling in the rattler. Did it hear that? Maybe that was a mating call.
Give it a shake.
So Cynthia asked, do you think your lightning detector is affected by Bigfoot or dogmen in the area? We don't know, but it is affected by unknown energy bursts. It said lightning sets it off.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were on Brown Mountains waiting the storm out, that damn thing's accurate.
Oh, yeah.
And it's extremely accurate. But there are unknown bursts of energy that seem to occur at odd times that don't tie in with the weather in these areas of like high strangeness. So it's data. We just don't know what the data means at this point. Some people say it's from portals opening up. Some people say it's from the zapping effect. Who knows, Jim? I'm saying at this point, who knows? We haven't seen a portal open and then had the lightning detector go off simultaneously. But something's going on, and that's what we're looking into.
I'm trying to get Stephen Jones there. Good night, Stephen Jones.
Good night, Stephen Jones. So
he's our UK representative today. I'm excited to get back out there.
We're going to be back up there. We're going to.
I have a ton of work to do in terms of research and digging into more of these encounters and checking into some of these witnesses and all this other stuff. But I am so excited to get back out there. I think that it's an absolute perfect place for us to investigate and really dive into.
But the Uwharrie was like the Grove when we originally looked at the Grove, and I just went, "Ain't nothing happening out here. Look at its placement, look at its size." The Uwharrie is fairly small compared to a lot of the other national forests in the region. You have to take into account all that private land that's around it that's wooded. A lot of logging that goes on up there. And the people element, it's a very independent group of people up there. You see T-shirts with Pineland on them.
Mm-hmm.
Pineland is a fictitious country. Basically, they do special forces training in that area, and a lot of the locals act like insurgents. And so they have like special forces guys who are getting ready to graduate, special forces school, go in there and link up with the insurgents. And then there's active duty military, National Guardsmen, and everything like that playing the government forces, and they're trying to overthrow the government of Pineland. So it's a bunch of very capable backwoods folks up there who aren't going to go running off to the BFRO every time something happens.
Yeah.
And you know what? Extremely friendly. All of the locals were extremely friendly, and the few that we talked to, that we told what we do, they were just like, "We'll keep you posted."
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ought to stick around. They're having a demolition derby on.
We were invited to the demolition derby several times.
So phenomenal people. But here's the other thing too: is that we're kind of like backwoods ourselves. We clean up good, but at the end of the day, we're from small little mountain towns, small little. I don't even know if you were from a town. You're probably just born in a cave somewhere, but. So we don't really come across as anything other than what we are, which is a couple of just, people from the holler with a penchant for the weird,
Mm-hmm.
So it is, let's see what else we got here. And this year it grows hot. I'd say he worked in a little predator thing there. So well done, Pyro. Well done. So let's see what else we got here.
I like this new T-shirt. Wary and Uwharrie. You're a good branding.
That is damn good.
That is pretty
That's
good.
pretty damn good.
Write it down.
Steal that. Let's practice some intellectual property theft ourselves for once.
I do like
Henry, have you ever been contacted by any colleges in your field?
I'm asking for clarification on that. Colleges or colleagues, maybe? There's no colleges. Clarification.
Clarification on that,
Clarification.
my friend. So
I'm going to ask for that. Just for fun, 402-450 says, you guys need to invest in a frequency generator and a speaker larger than 13
we
inches.
have 3 frequency generators right now, varying sizes. We don't haul speakers out, although I still don't think infrasound plays into any of this to the degree that people think it does. If it does, that makes it even weirder. But you can't really generate infrasound with commercially available speakers, like even subwoofers, because it's so low, below 20 hertz. But we're looking at a way we can build an infrasound generator.
It's in the works.
It's in the works, about 17, 18 hertz. So into the infrasound range, the upper end of it. But it's supposed to be portable. That ain't that damn portable. So
no.
Vehicle portable maybe. But all right, let's see what else we have got here.
Brian Wigful, you fascinate me every day. I'd love to see a rattler that size. I used to work with a crocodile hunter years ago before he even got really popular here in Australia.
Yeah. R.I.P. Steve Irwin. You know what I'm saying? So
the king.
The king. But
I have no interest in wrangling rattlers. I got to tell you that. Just admiring their thickiness, the beefiness.
Their thickiness.
The beefiness.
Hold on a second. Schools. Okay. There had been some communication with one of the universities on the Brown Mountain Lights footage we had, but then that kind of went cold and we couldn't get back in touch with anybody.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no, nobody's really ever, even most Bigfoot people don't really talk to us that much. Most of the paranormal field is so divided into camps. The ghost people don't like the Bigfoot people. The Bigfoot people don't like the Dogman people. The UFO people hate everybody. And we kind of get involved in all of it. So we ain't too palatable to most people.
We're barely palatable to ourselves.
Barely stand myself. So see what else we had.
Moondog said we should get a saddle and just ride one of those eastern rattlers around because they get to 7 feet long. Can you imagine?
Good Lord. One quick thing from Awesome earlier. Bristol had said, awesome job on the Lore You Know, Joe. I was on the Lore You Know with Heather Mosier. Did I record that last week?
I don't remember anything. I feel like this past few days has been
like 2 weeks long.
Yeah.
So thank you. I had a ball. It's awesome to get to talk to somebody as knowledgeable as Heather, where you can just kind of just go full tilt. I haven't even listened to it.
You can the video version is available for their members on their channel, but if you want to listen to the audio of it, it's available on Spotify or your favorite podcatcher. So if you want to hear Joe's interview on The Lore You Know with Heather Mosier, you can listen to the audio version. If you're not a member of Small Town Monsters YouTube page to watch the video, you can listen to the audio on Spotify. So
Truth and Empowerment wants to know if we have an parabolic listening device.
we do. We have a small one that we got that's actually pretty light and portable, but it's still too cumbersome for us to haul it out into the woods.
We use it on stationary stuff. But
yeah.
We put a lot of expense and time and thought into the buildup, and it's just not, even with making it portable, it still ain't that damn portable. You have to have the parabolic dish, microphone, XLR cable, the actual recorder, tripod, backup battery sources. You're not getting that deployed in a quickness. And if you hear something, our whole thing is we're not just going to stand there and record it. We're going to try to go to where the sound's coming from. Then you got to pack it back up, carry it. So we don't use it as often as we thought we would, but we do have it. We deploy it.
Surviving the Strange. Gonna have to see if they make snake shot in 10mm for you guys.
40 caliber is what we got to get. We looked.
That was one of the Googles on the way home.
Yeah, but here's the deal: is that it also didn't. it didn't bother us and we didn't bother it. I mean, it was not the coolest thing to ever deal with ever. You see that, and then you're just going, where are the rest of them at? But, you know, I ain't gonna bother it. It ain't gonna bother me, man. But we are going to get some snake shot to kind of take along with us there. So, BP Aviation, welcome to the membership. Thank you so much. So, yeah, like I said, your support is greatly appreciated. These investigations are, to do them the way we do them, you know, we need the support. Just quite frankly, it's beyond the capabilities of two people to do by themselves. So, you get to see cool stuff like us nearly get killed by rattlesnakes. And it's funny. I don't think you mentioned this, but
I'm posting the link to the Spotify for the episode of The Lore You Know with Joe on it. That is the link right there in the chat. So, just
but so we're there and the snake's going on, and Jesse's just like, and we're both just kind of going, all right, back up, you know, like, let's do this. And Jesse's just like, are you filming this? And I'm like, yes, I'm filming this.
I'm the eternal director.
You're the eternal director there, for gosh sakes. So.
I'm a documentary filmmaker. I think that's how I get my title.
Yes.
Is that moment right there is how I get my name badge. Documentary filmmaker is that I have a snake 3 feet from me. They could murder me, kill me in seconds. And I go, are you filming this?
So your list of accolades now is Jesse Doyle, outdoor paranormal field investigator,
smoked meat connoisseur,
documentary filmmaker, rattlesnake attack survivor.
Hero.
That's right, because I even said I didn't hear the damn thing, and I just went, "Hey, you saved my life back there." Thank you.
Because Joe's like kind of wandering around. He was actually headed towards where it was, and I was like, "Do not move." But yes, well, you're welcome.
Yes, but then now she's just like hero. I'll add hero to that too. So don't be surprised if she doesn't have that underneath her name next week.
Hero.
Let's see what else we got. We ain't doing this too much.
Yeah, I'm not shooting any Uwharrie snakes. And I was telling my friend about the encounter there, and he goes, everybody would be death for me shooting. I was like, I would never shoot him. He was just chilling.
He was bothering us. We ain't bothering him, man. He was
cruising through, you know. He was cruising through.
Don't forget barge enthusiast. So,
hey,
welcome to memberships, Top Hat Thoughts. Thank you. Thank you so much.
There's a ton of videos for you guys to check out on our membership. We really appreciate you guys who became members tonight and have become members in the past few weeks, and who have been members for months at this point. We really appreciate your support. We are viewer supported. This membership allows us to actually go out and do these investigations. It allows us to get the latest equipment. It allows us to do this and actually bring you guys these adventures. So everything you contribute to that helps with that. And we
get demonetized pretty often.
We do get demonetized.
Yeah. So people are always just like, we were talking to somebody while we were on this trip, and we just said, yeah, we've got a YouTube channel, but we're really not YouTubers. We just share what we do on YouTube. And this guy went, oh, YouTube, is there good money in that? I went, not the way we do it. No, not at all. Do you know what I'm saying? So, not at all, not in the slightest. So, y'all's support keeps this going on. But, yeah, please do. Top Hat's Thought, check it out. We've got a lot of stuff in there for members. There's still a lot of public stuff, but the members help us keep that public stuff going.
Cicada enthusiasts.
Yeah, I shared that. So,
I'm going to need a bigger resume.
All right. Miranda asked if we thought about using a death whistle. No, Elijah Henderson's got one of those from Cryptid Studies Institute. We have a shofar courtesy of Suji, who we weren't going to blow it until she was able to kind of join us in like watching us blow it. Mm-hmm. And I'm still struggling to blow the damn thing consistently. Sometimes it sounds amazing. Other times it's just, yeah, it's terrible. And we want to do it on a live stream, so in case anything happens, everybody can like witness it in real time.
Yeah.
And we're struggling in a couple of our areas that we had activity that we could stream from. We did that member stream last week?
Friday.
It seems like so much longer.
I know.
We did a member stream and it was just in and out because we've had a real hard time with signal lately for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why. You would think the signal would get better in areas, but that ain't been the case so far. So.
No, it's been a challenge, but we will prevail. the cicadas have not hushed up, Larry Sharp. They're so loud in the Uwharrie last night. We did our dual mic setup when we were in the Uwharrie last night, so at least we'll be able to hear all of my babblings about the snake.
So let's see what else we got on here. We're not going to go all night, guys. I'm losing my voice actually. From all the dust.
We literally got out of the truck and ran in here and set this up.
But what's going to be interesting about the Uwharries is
everything.
I think our brand, our approach to things is going to mesh up well with it because there's so much different stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So much different stuff going on. And it's everybody wants a knife. We don't. We stripped our knives out before we even came in. Do you have a knife? Well, even on you, I think mine's.
I've got my knife. I've got a knife that I've showed the other day. But I'll show it again because it's on my desk here.
I'll grab.
Did I show this on a member's show or was it I don't even remember. I had this the other day up here. This is my favorite knife that I've got. My friend Lenny made it for me. It's a deer slayer. It's actually a vintage. Here we go. Vintage deer slayer blade, and then it's got a antler on it. I'm sorry, I'm so tired. And then the wire here is silver, and then he did a ritual with it, a blessing ritual, and he put his blood on it under a full wolf moon, I believe it was. So that is my werewolf hunting knife. I had that out the other day. But yeah, I'm wearing leggings. I'm not wearing any knives right now. We literally just dropped all of our stuff and came in here and fired all this stuff up and started the show. But that is my favorite knife. I don't know what happened to Joe. Where did you go? He's gone. You just use a party horn. Yeah, that's exactly what we need to do. Forget the shofar. We're gonna take the party horn. Jimmy Mims asked, did y'all look at a portable Wi-Fi? We have a signal booster that Steve Causey was kind enough to put together for us. Steve used to do remotes with a news organization, and that's what they would use. So he actually put that together with the assistance of the Dooster, and that helps with our streaming, but we move around and we have to get away from it. So it's if you have something putting off that signal and we're doing a live investigation, we're moving around. So we'd have to stick around that and we'd have to stay in one spot. And that would, that defeats the purpose of us doing a live investigation. So that's just a thing we have to kind of work out and figure out what to do with. So I'm going to go through here and we're going to wrap it up in a second. Yeah, Paul Walker, it is the Dogman Slayer. That's exactly what it is. Forget Deer Slayer. It's a Dogman Slayer. Welcome Lisa McClendon to the membership. We really appreciate you joining our membership. I hope you enjoy all the cool videos we're putting out.
Go grab my knife. I'm still rocking my 5 Max that I've been carrying like nonstop. It's like a 5-inch blade. It's heavy as hell. You can use it like a little hatchet. You can.
Cynthia had to tell me he went to get his knives. I'm like, I'm totally phased. I'm sorry.
But
I was talking about that and I phased out. I was like, where did Joe go?
Yeah, no, I took it out when we came in, and then I didn't put it back in my pocket.
Henry said bikini with snake boots. I will say my mother is texting me all weekend because I sent her on a mission. I sent her to Buc-ee's to get me a Buc-ee's bikini. So the snake boot and the bikini is going to be the new outfit for the Uwharrie.
So anyway, like I was talking about the Uwharries, I think we're suited to the variety of strangeness that's going on up there. Somebody had asked earlier in the chat if there was any dogman activity up there. And I'm going, there were rumors of some carvings on some of the rocks up there of dog-headed like entities that were done by the natives, the Native Americans. I have not found any online proof, but I've heard 2 different people talk about that. There are some other things. Where was that area we went to? MK Ultra had it in one of his videos where they have the dog-headed, the Indian, the Native American.
That is Town Creek Indian Mound.
Yeah, one of the Indian mounds there, and some of the recreated artwork has a dog-headed entity there. But I always go to this, is that a lot of these encounters where it's just a large, aggressive, dark, hairy figure A lot of people just assume it's a Sasquatch. It could be something. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? Who knows? So the one thing that I haven't heard a lot of, and I haven't done a lot of digging, granted, is UFO activity in the area.
No.
So
MK's got a Dogman story he's going to forward to us tonight.
But it
no, but there is light phenomenon, so I guess you could possibly connect that as a UFO thing. But we'll see. We've got a lot of digging to do. We're just getting started on this whole project. So
but I mean, we're gonna be going. It's here's the difficulty though. You go into an area that has like one thing going on, it's easy to approach.
He said he's got a UFO video. He'll forward that too.
MK, we got to get your channel rolling again. I don't know if Jesse messaged you that, but we got to get your channel up and running again, buddy. So we stand by to assist you. So in any way we can.
And he's going to make an appearance the next time we go up there. He's going to make an appearance in the videos that we do up there. For sure.
Now, something I did want to do here real quick, and I don't know if you're still in the chat because I saw this late when I was scrolling up looking for Martin's heat exhaustion thing, but Brady Thompson, I'm looking for help trapping these things to relocate them. They keep bothering my sheep and cattle. What keeps bothering your sheep and cattle? I saw this late. This is a late comment. That's a half hour ago. You may not be on here anymore, but if you tune back in to watch this, what are the things that are bothering your sheep and cattle?
You can always email us at helpandholler@gmail.com. The address is listed below. If you like snail mail, you can also write us at P.O. Box 777, Pelzer, South Carolina, 296-669. And you can get in touch with us there. And if you want to let us know what's going on, you got a story.
I mean, as far as like trapping them and relocating them, I don't know if anybody can seriously do that.
I don't think
you
so.
hear people go, "Oh, I trap and relocate these things," and I go, "Well, you're all over social media. You like being in front of the camera. Can we see?"
Good night, Lisa Johnson.
Good night, Lisa.
We're about to wrap it up.
But anyway, shoot us a.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind. Go on.
Shoot us a message if you get this.
Yep, there is our contact information.
Larry, we will greatly appreciate.
Nutslab goes relocate Dogman. Yeah, LOL. Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know.
Now, there are, and I've talked about this in the past, but there are things that you can do to kind of push activity, regardless of what the activity is.
There are measures you can take, but there's nobody is trapping and nobody is trapping and releasing.
Yeah, you ain't doing a cage.
That's not happening.
Catching them in a cage, man.
It's not happening.
So
that's a no.
But, all right. So let's see what else we got here. We're going in.
All right, back to work, MK Ultra. We're about to
We're about to call it because we're going to take
showers and unpack equipment and go to bed, finally, in air conditioning.
Yes.
So we're excited.
But
Suji's giving you the instructions on the show.
and I've seen it. I just am not the best at it yet. And we even mentioned, I don't know if you were on here earlier, that we wanted to do it when you could be a part of it as well. And then I'm going, but now I have a hard time blowing the damn thing. But anyway, so
I'm going to throw up the link right there. It's coming through. That is the link so you can listen to the episode of The Lore You Know on Spotify that Joe.
And I don't really do interviews.
Was on.
Like
I was on the previous episode. You don't have to listen to mine, but you definitely want to listen to Joe's. Joe's got some big brain energy when it comes to that.
Check out the brain. So,
and I'm going to listen to it tomorrow because you're like, I don't want to listen to myself. I was like, well, I want to listen to you. So I get to listen to it tomorrow. But that's the link for that if you guys want to check that out. I want to thank everybody who joined up for the membership tonight. And then everybody who has been a member. Thank you guys so much. Your membership allows us to go out and do these expeditions. It allows us to go into these crazy places and do this stuff and
share the results.
With you. Yeah, we are 100% member supported on that end.
Mark D's a member for 7 months. Thank you for that.
We are not going to try to sell you anything. So
well, that's like when people go, "Do you guys have merch?" And I'm going, "We're trying to get stuff for people that want it, but it's not going to be a regular thing because we don't have time." Like I've said time and time again, we're really good at the spending money aspect of this sort of thing. We're not really good at the making money on this aspect sort of thing. it's, you know, like we always said that if we won the lottery tomorrow, we wouldn't tell anybody, but there'd be signs, you know. We've got our private satellite overhead right now looking for thermal images in the Uwharrie National Forest.
Wouldn't that be nice? Tommy Chapman suggests we get a trumpet mouthpiece.
Somebody else had mentioned that before.
I'm making
Is
a
that
note.
cheating though? I don't know if that would.
I don't, I think it's okay. I think you're just looking for the sound. You're not really looking for the method of delivery.
Thank you for that, Surviving the Strange, for the hydration and jerky restocking. So,
I think I'm probably 90% Gatorade at this point. My blood has been replaced by Gatorade.
Yeah, I'm still guzzling. Thank you for that, kind sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. We're going to get some rest. What's up, Sploot? Sploot, I wanted to tell you, I sit right here at my desk here, and these actually need to get moved to my office. I have all of my crystals that you sent me, Sploot. I have them all here, Sabrina. Thank you so much for these. These are actually getting moved to the office tonight, though, so they won't be with me.
We really need to do a behind the scenes video that kind of shows the field investigations are, if we were just recording everything on a phone and we were just out like banging on a stick, you know, like a tree on a stick. I said that before, banging a tree on a stick. I said that with Heather Mosher. I don't know why. I think I made a joke like that, and now it's just
because you make a joke about who brings wood to the woods.
Wood. I was like, who brings wood to the woods?
Although I would probably have to. I don't. Did we ever include this in a video? We make jokes about me picking sticks to try to do tree.
Well, it's because that's why I don't think it's wood knocks. We've, except for when we had the bamboo that time. That was bamboo and bamboo.
Yeah.
But it's usually when you pick a limb off the forest floor, it's rotted.
Oh, yeah.
We have Jessie trying to do, she's like, I'm going to do a wood knock one night. And I'm like, oh, you're going to do a wood knock.
I'm like, I'm going to do it.
We'd heard a sound and she picked it up and just gives this little, and then the tree just like limb just disintegrates. And I'm going, that's why I don't think a lot of this is, it's a sound. It's a weird sound, but what it is, I don't know if it's wood on wood. But if we just did that, it'd be not as time consuming. We have to do a lot of prep. I have like a lot of equipment to go through and clean and redo. Jesse's going to start on evidence review. So unfortunately, that doesn't leave us a lot of time to run an online store, even though that would be helpful.
But we do have the hats coming. And
we got some hats. We're going to try to get some shirts.
I'm working on the t-shirt order, and then we'll go from there. And it's going to be a simple merch situation.
Thank you for that, Mike.
Thank you, Michael Russell. Always good to see you, my friend.
What's up, man? We've gotten so many people from Australia over the past like month or so.
We've got the UK contingent.
It's going good. And then Tommy Chapman said, don't let the bed bugs bite. Every other bug known to man has bitten us. And that's why you'll see us kind of doing this right now. We've got eaten alive, especially when we had to go to white light after the snake incident. The bug spray wasn't.
But I'll take the flying insects over the rattlesnake
any day of the week. So.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it. We need showers and bug bite ointment.
Yeah.
And maybe a bite to eat. We'll see. But we're going to get some rest, and we will talk at you guys later. Keep an eye out. I will hopefully have some stuff coming out for y'all soon. I'm gonna lock myself in my office all day tomorrow and work. So.
We greatly appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah,
on
thank
Tuesday.
you. Thank you.
We should be back to our regularly scheduled Monday.
Yep, absolutely. We'll be
we
there.
Are going to check out some potential area of activity this weekend. That may just turn into a scouting trip. That might turn into something. We don't know.
We'll see. We always have to keep you posted. We'll see what happens.
We always let the universe kind of steer us in a particular area. And as soon as we began talking to somebody in this particular area, 3 more cases just seemed to materialize out of nowhere. And this is an area that we really hadn't heard much of previously.
Nope. And then now it's all of a sudden.
So keep your notifications on. Who knows what this is going to develop into? Maybe nothing, maybe something, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But
thank you all for joining us. We will catch you guys later. Stay tuned. We've survived. Oh, are we freezing? We're good. Yeah. We survived Uwharrie to fight the Uwharrie another day, but we are wary of the Uwharrie. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We adore you all. I'm going to take care of this.
Thank you, Lady Wolf.
Best mod of the business. The king. The king. All right, bye, guys. We appreciate you. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves and take care